This is He Knows Everything, bringing you that heat far. We keeping a foot on the whoop. Yeeks. We keeping a foot on the whoop. Yeeks. Let's talk about it, man. Because we got to get right into it, man. We've been mentioning and we've been emphatically telling everybody that Lefraud James is not a basketball player that's feared. This is quintessential truth. This is cutthroat and unadulterated truth. This is cutthroat, truth-telling fashion truth. When we look at LeBron James, we have to ask ourselves, from the beginning, the inception of when he was with St. Mary's, this guy was not feared on the basketball court. He had a small dude by the name of Uncle Drew. That was the guy that was feared on the basketball court. He was the one taking the last second shots. Guys that are feared on the basketball court are usually the clutch basketball players. They're the players that when the game is on the line, give me the ball and get the fuck out of my way. Because guys like this that operate with this mindset, that operate with this delineation, that operates with this distinction, that operates with this gulf and separation, they operate with a mindset of understanding from a basketball standpoint, from a cardinal rule standpoint. This is how you strike fear into your opponents. You usher in greatness through clutchness. Let me say that again because what I said was so deep and profound. So hear me fucking well. You usher greatness in with clutchness. Clutchness is the personification of you putting your stamp of approval on an opponent because you're keeping the foot on the whoop. Yeeks. You're keeping the foot on the whoop. Yeeks. Who you think inspired keeping the foot on the necks? It was Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Kobe Bean Bryant because He Knows Everything saw them keeping the foot on the neck of their opponents. He Knows Everything saw Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Kobe Bean Bryant basically saying to their opponents that you're not on my level, that I'm going to keep dropping these J's in your face. I'm going to keep making you eat these buckets. This is how they played the game of basketball. They played it from a delineation standpoint of letting you know they were going to put their stamp of approval of dominance on you. They played from a golf standpoint of letting you know that there's a separation in our skill set, in our ability, and that I'm going to intimidate you. From a separation standpoint in the sense of them separating themselves from the golfing of the fact that when it comes to the difference, the delineation, that you need to understand that these guys right here are not here to play. This is the mindset that Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Kobe Bean Bryant had from day one. LeBron James from St. Mary's gets a $90 million shoe contract. Jordan had to work to get his endorsements. Kobe Bean Bryant had to work to get his endorsements. But they gave Lefraud James endorsements, even though Lefraud James wasn't deserving of it. Then he shows up into the league, and once he shows up to the league, you would think Lefraud James would put everybody on notice that he's supposedly the chosen one. But all we've been seeing is gaffes after gaffes after gaffes of him being the frozen one. He shows up to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Paul Silas, known as a hellified coach, LeBron James gets him fired. Why? Because LeBron James doesn't want to hear authority. He doesn't want to hear somebody challenging him. Because remember, they already coordinated this guy. So if you coordinate somebody, you give him a $90 million contract, what coach is he going to listen to? Even if the coach is a very good basketball coach. So Paul Silas gets canned because we know of the whole Ricky Green situation, right? If you guys know basketball, you know who the fuck Ricky Green is. That's the motherfucker that basically told LeBron James, fuck you. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care that you have a $90 million contract. I'm not passing the ball to you like that. You're a rookie. I'm going to treat you like the fucking rookie that you are. And we know what ended up happening ultimately to his basketball career and him doing that. You see, they always had to make a luck concession. But imagine Kobe Bean Bryant and Michael Jeffrey Jordan playing with a Ricky Green. They would have checked, ethered, and murked and put that motherfucker in his place. LeBron James goes and switches into Larry Hughes of the world. Mo Williams of the world. Basically, he had the opportunity to play with all of these different guys that showed up on the Cleveland Cavaliers. Daniel Boobie Gibsons of the world. Has high 60-plus win percentages with these guys. Mike Brown doesn't get enough credit, but Mike Brown instituted defense. Mike Brown got fired. But Mike Brown had some hellified seasons with the Cleveland Cavaliers. He didn't deserve the firing that he got because it was Lefraud James that had the liquid game. It was Lefraud James that basically didn't show up and show out when he needed to. But they blamed it on Mike Brown. They always blame it on somebody else. Let's be honest here. It's because Lefraud James does not strike fear in his opponents. He's not a basketball player that you fear of. He's not a basketball player that you sit there and say, you know what? When I'm dealing with this guy, I am afraid of everything that he brings to the table. This is not Lefraud James's DNA. So hence, because it's not his DNA, hence because it's not his identity, hence because it's not his separation and degree and variation, Lefraud James gets to escape. See, guys like this are not what we call fun basketball players. Guys like this are what we call fearful basketball players. Guys like this are not fearful basketball players. Guys like this are what we call fun basketball players. Lefraud James was always a fun basketball player. He wasn't fearful. Nobody was afraid of Lefraud James. You want to know why nobody was afraid of Lefraud James? Because Lefraud James brings fun. He doesn't bring fear. Do I need to keep on going? Because we could bring out the encyclopedia. We could bring out the vernacular. In Lefraud James, basically epic meltdown against the Boston Celtics. Quit game, dog. What happened? Why didn't he show up? The year before that, got excoriated by the Orlando Magics. The year before that, doesn't even go far into the fucking playoffs. The year before that, Lefraud James finds a way to get done up in the NBA Finals against the San Antonio Spurs. So he gets done up by the San Antonio Spurs. He gets done up by the Detroit Pistons. He gets done up by the Orlando Magics. He gets done the fuck up by the Boston Celtics. Do you see a pattern here? Is that pattern reciprocating Michael Jeffrey Jordan? Is that pattern reciprocating Kobe B. Bryant? No. You do not see those patterns with those guys because those guys don't nut up. Now let's go to 2011. See, 5 years of back-to-back meltdowns. He gets done the fuck up by the Dallas Mavericks. 2012, 2013, those are the only 2 years back-to-back NBA Finals. But those are the asterisks because in 2012, Dwayne Wade shut down and locked down Russell Westbrook of Russville. That's why they won. And basically, they act like they couldn't blow the whistle for Kevin Durant. You know, at that time, if LeBron James didn't win, Stephen A. Smith said LeBron James was going to be the most overrated basketball player the NBA's ever seen. So they had to give him something of the notion to win. Then we go into 2013, and we know what happened. All of a sudden, the San Antonio Spurs players cannot hit free throws. Manu Ginobili, a guy who's known to hit free throws, Tony Parker, a guy who's known to hit free throws, Kawhi Leonard, a guy who's known to hit free throws, even Tim Duncan, a guy who's known to hit free throws. All of these motherfuckers can't hit free throws? What the fuck? It's a lot of things that make you say love. It's a lot of things that make you say love. They can't hit fucking free throws. Isn't that something? Do I need to keep on going and keep breaking this shit down to a simple science for y'all? Then we keep going and we keep thinking about all of the situations, all of the aspects that's associated with Lefraud James. And then we tell ourselves that Lefraud James finds a precarious situation, finds a precarious way to find himself in a hole. You want to know the hole that he found himself in, a precarious situation that he found himself in? Lefraud James sits there and Lefraud James gives you Lefraud James exploits. Basically, Ray Allen saves the fucking day. Hits a huge fucking shot off of the strength of Chris Bosh's rebound. 2 fucking safety blankets, if you ask me, to help Lefraud James and help the Lefraud James tendencies. Do we need to keep on going? 2014, blames it on the AC. There was no fucking AC. It was hot as you know what. But isn't Tony Parker older than you? Isn't Manu Ginobili older than you? Isn't fucking Kawhi Leonard older than you? All of these guys are older than you. But they weren't complaining. They were in that hot-ass San Antonio weather. But all of a sudden, you're complaining. You're supposed to be a Mack truck. You're supposed to be the most well-oiled, most well-conditioned basketball player the NBA's ever seen. We're going to ride a little bit on this one. And in 2014, he gets done the fuck up. 2015, 2016, we know what the Golden State Warriors did to him. Do you see a pattern here? Lefraud James keeps getting done the fuck up. But he's a fearful basketball player. And all of these teams that do his ass up, they're not afraid of his ass. And in the 2015-2016 season, what ends up happening? Stephen Curry is doing his thing, but Andre Iguodala locks him down 2015. 2016, we do the math. What happens? Lefraud James wins a title. And you want to know why he won a title? Because, let's be honest, Golden State Warriors would have won that one too. Andrew Bogut goes down. Draymond Green gets suspended for calling you the B word. 2017 and 2018. We already know Kevin Durant back to back your ass. So hold up, Kevin Durant is up on you. Tim Duncan is up on you. Dirk Nowitzki's up on you. Oh my gosh, but this is a guy that's feared? No. This is a guy that when you play against, you have fun. Do I need to keep on going, breaking this shit down? Because it feels like I need to keep breaking this shit down. Yeah, he knows everything, breaks the shit down. Then we sit here and we look at 2019. What ends up happening? LeBron James gets basically non-existent in no playoffs. The motherfucker don't even make no playoffs. This is his first time with the Los Angeles Lakers. No fucking playoffs. Because he went to the Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West. The Wild Wild West. In 2020, he wins a fraudulent fluky on the spot NBA title, a least path of resistance NBA title, Infinite Tsukuyomi, a virtual reality. Stephen Curry's hurt. Kevin Durant's coming back from an Achilles. Kawhi Leonard is dealing with ACL-ish. Turned around and become basically Kawhi Rexic. Giannis Antetokounmpo's not even Giannis Antetokounmpo. Everybody that came back, they weren't training, but the Los Angeles Fakers were training. The Los Angeles Fakers were actually playing basketball. It's a lot of things that make you say love. It's a lot of things that make you say love. So he wins a Mickey Mouse affair. He wins basically what we would say a least path of resistance affair. He wins basically what we would say a movie Ready Player One affair. This is what Lefraud James wins. But we're saying in our most cold-hearted, in our most unadulterated, in our most cutthroat true teller fashion, that he is deserving based on these parameters. See, this is funny to me. Go ahead, he knows. Damn. This is funny to me. This is crazy to me. Because when it's all said and done, this right here reveals to you guys, in its most cold-hearted, in its most unadulterated, and in its most cutthroat true teller fashion, is as simple as this. That Lefraud James is what the fuck he is, a Lefraud James. Now we sit here and we look at 2021. Lefraud James basically got done the fuck up. Done the fuck up. Love first rounded by Devin Booker and them. It's a lot of things that make you say love. It's a lot of things that make you say love. As I'm going down this list, don't you guys see that there's a continuum problem here? That Lefraud James finds himself getting done the fuck up, but he's feared. A basketball player that's feared don't get done up like this. A basketball player that's feared doesn't get basically treated like this. A basketball player that's feared does not get these level of treatment. A basketball player that's feared is fucking feared. Is Lefraud James feared? See, I gotta ride a little bit on this one. Now we're in 2022. He's getting a little desperate because he knows where Brooklyn at. Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? Because when Biggie said it, he didn't ask a question. He made a fucking emphatic statement. And what was that fucking emphatic statement that Biggie made? Where Brooklyn is at is where Brooklyn is at. And Brooklyn's finest is in the motherfucking building. That's exactly what happened. You see, as we're breaking this shit down, something's not adding up with Lefraud James. Something's not making sense with Lefraud James. We're realizing that Lefraud James is really Lefraud James. So what is not cold-hearted about what He Knows Everything said? What is not unadulterated about what He Knows Everything said? What is not the cutthroat true teller fashion that's associated with what He Knows Everything said? We have to look at this and say a Lefraud James is a motherfucking Lefraud James. Isn't that what we're saying? Isn't that the underlying and the undercurrent truths that we're coming to? That Lefraud James is fucking Lefraud James. So what are we not getting here? What are we not coming to the conclusive science of here? And what are we not understanding here? Because when it's all said and done, Lefraud James has revealed that he's a Lefraud basketball player. Lefraud James has revealed that he is basically Lefraudulent. Lefraud James has revealed that in its most cutthroat, truth-telling fashion, cold-hearted variation, unadulterated variation, he's a Lefraud James. Isn't that a cold-hearted? Isn't that an unadulterated? Isn't that a cutthroat true telefashion? He knows everything brought you back down to memory lane. No, la memory lane as we love contextualizing it. And what did we come to the conclusion of? That LeBron James is a fun basketball player to play with. Nothing about him is feared. But when we look at Michael Jeffrey Jordan and Kobe Bean Bryant, 6 for 6 for 6, 5 for 7, that's fear. Because that tells you that these guys, when they got to the NBA Finals, they weren't fucking playing. That tells you that these guys right here were ushering and engineering greatness personification. And what did we say about greatness personification? Greatness personification can only be hindered. The motherfucker can't be stopped. I keeps the foot on what? Eeks. I keeps the foot on the what? Eeks. This is He Knows Everything. Check it out.